I couldn't think of having a stranger in my home who she didn't know, nor could I board her in a traditional facility. So I canceled my trip.
Hey y'all, welcome to Buddies Besties. My name is Layla and today I am here with Shawna and we are going to talk all things boarding. So I'm really excited. So tell me a little bit about, you have a boarding facility.
I have a pet sitting company.
Oh,
so it's all things pet care.
Okay.
So we offer pet sitting in your home, dog walks, wellness checks, transport, grooming, and then boarding in our homes.
Okay.
So I have a team of girls, and we bring in dogs into our homes as well to give them more of a home environment. It's more care, not boarding. It's not traditional boarding. It's like a true home away from home.
No boarding facility.
It's not a facility. Yeah,
I love that.
Homes. We are homes. They sleep in beds and couches and wherever they want. Cats, dogs, iguanas, whatever.
Equal opportunity.
Correct.
Taking care of your animals. So if your animal's more comfortable in their home, you will come out and
we match the environment. Right.
Amazing.
Yes, whatever you need. And that's like, we're not a one size fits all. We adjust what you guys need. So, I started that because I had an old dog and I was supposed to go to a wedding and I could not find care for my dog because I was in the wedding and all my friends that usually take care of my Sasha were going to the wedding. And I couldn't think of having a stranger in my home who she didn't know, nor could I board her in a traditional facility because in my head it was a kennel, and only potty breaks ever so often. I mean, she was a pretty princess, you can't just kill it.
That's right.
So I canceled my trip and I took care of my dog and anybody else's dogs that were going, and it evolved from there. And then in my real job, I own a gym, and clients would ask me, can you take my dog? Can you do this? Can you do this? And it's just evolved over the last 13 years. And now I have a team of 16 amazing women that work for me. Without them, there would be no Shaw's Paws.
That's so incredible to me.
Yeah.
You said Sasha?
It's Sasha. Yes.
I had a little Sasha too. I love that name, a little kitty. She passed away a little while ago, but
how old was she when she passed away?
She was 16.
My dog was 16. Sasha was 16. Yes.
Yes.
That was, yes. Yeah. Oh.
I think this is so amazing because as far as, people sometimes have dogs and cats and that's difficult to board. I had a sick animal. And I didn't really go on vacations because I had nobody to watch him and I didn't want to leave him, who's going to medicate him, who's going to make sure he's eating, who's going to keep an eye on him. When you do this with your people, do they stay overnight in your home? They can. Okay.
Yes.
So it's not just pop in, feed, pop out.
We do offer that. Some people are uncomfortable with having other people live in their home, or they're uncomfortable with it. It just depends on what you're comfortable with, right?
Sure.
I was a vet tech for many years growing up. I grew up on a farm and all of the things. And so we have the ability to give injections and medication to cats, dogs, horses, whatever needs to be done.
Horses.
And oh yes, we've boarded horses. We've gone to ranches and lived at the ranch while the people are away, because that is a big thing, to find somebody that you can trust to take care of your animals, and you don't take vacation because of your animals.
Right.
You wouldn't just leave your kid with just anybody, your human kid.
Right.
So yes, that's we just accommodate what you need, and all of that starts at the phone call, right? At the initial phone call, they'll say, we have this date coming up, we have these animals, this is what we're comfortable with, we're not comfortable with this. And so I just kind of match the caregiver to the home, or to the home where the animal's going, or to the sitter to the home. And you have an opportunity to meet your caregiver prior and make sure, I want to make sure that my caregiver is comfortable with where she's going, or comfortable with the animal that's coming in. And I want the client to be comfortable and the animal to be comfortable with the caregiver. So that initial meet and greet, whether we are coming into your home or they're coming into ours, is vital. We have to have that, because I want everybody to be copacetic, because if the client's worried while they're gone, it's not much of a vacation.
Right.
And if the dog is stressed out, we don't want that either. So
What are some things people at home should be asking when they're thinking about boarding their pet?
Ask your friends and family first who they use. You can go online all day long and get Google reviews and get all of the things, but those are padded, or I take that back. They're not padded, but they can be, right? Everything can
Right.
be altered.
Sure.
You can put lipstick on a pig and make it look beautiful, and you can do
Right.
that same thing to any type of business, right? And same thing can be said, like if there's a bad review out there, you could have disgruntled employees out there putting out. So I
Sure.
always say, go to your inner circle first and ask who they use and get personal references. And then from there, do your due diligence with background checks. Like we background check all of my employees are background checked, and they are personal friends. They are retired teachers. They are moms who were looking for something to fill their time, and it's all women.
Okay.
And that just happened organically. And all of my caregivers are 30 plus years old. I have nothing against our younger generation. I just feel like for us, this is animals can't talk.
Right.
So we need some responsible, adults taking care of these animals and going into these homes and keeping these animals,
Right.
So we look for clean driving record, working car. Like you would think
Yeah.
the basics,
Right.
whatever you're looking for in your human babysitter, we're looking for in our animal babysitters, even more so
Right.
because these animals don't have a voice. So there's a
Right.
lot of trust involved both ways.
Right.
So
So when you're thinking about you're at home and let's just say you've got an animal that's got an illness. So
Mhm.
I had an animal that had CKD. He had kidney disease.
kidney disease.
And it's really difficult when you're trying to figure out how, like sometimes things happen that you have to go to. My dad had his 75th birthday. I had to be there.
Mhm.
We had to figure something out. But what are the things you should be asking yourself as a pet parent when it comes to, should I board versus should I have someone come to my house versus is there a combo? Like, how do you think about that and what kind of questions?
It's a great question. I would ask, has that caregiver ever cared for a pet that has the illness that your animal has had?
Okay.
Okay. What kind of experience do you have? And then I would give them scenarios. How are you going to tell my dog's looking lethargic? You as the owner are going to leave when you're in your interview with your pet giver, you're going to tell them a lot about your pet. Okay. If they start doing this, if they start doing this, if they start doing this, you're going to give them step by step, what they need to do. And this isn't for every sitting situation. This is for a special circumstance pet, right? So medication. I also encourage my girls to figure out a time when that animal is going to take their meds. And I want my caregivers, I want my owners to meet with my caregivers and the owner give the medicine and let my caregiver give the medicine. That way you are confident as the owner, you're leaving your pet with somebody that knows how to do it. You physically watched that, right?
So you watch them do it.
You watch them do it.
Right.
Just like you would your human child, right? And always leave an emergency contact and whatnot. Those are just some specifics that I like to make sure is done.
If I'm going to look at a facility,
Mhm.
like a boarding facility, what are some of the things as a regular person that I would be looking for?
So facilities and homes are different, right?
Mhm.
So if you're going into a traditional facility, and Fort Worth has amazing facilities. They really do. If traditional is your route, you want cameras and kennels and all of that, I can list off a slew of people that I would recommend you to. But if you're looking for, like for us, we don't give tours of our homes, right?
Sure.
We're not going to have a whole bunch of strangers in and out of our homes. But I'm also, when you come up to my home, it better be clean. Okay, you're not going to drop your kid off at a janky, shady place, right? Don't drop your dog off either.
Right.
Even more so because they can't talk. They can't tell
Right.
you what's going on behind those closed doors.
The forever 2-year-olds, I like
Correct.
to say.
Yes,
Yep.
it's so true.
Yep.
This is going to seem trivial, but is the lawn mowed Is it trimmed? Is it cleaned? I mean, those little details, I know that sounds silly, but if they're not taking care of the outside of their house, what's the inside of their house look like that you're not allowed to go into?
Right.
You know, for us, we do encourage like video chats and whatnot. And you can give a tour that way if the person wants to see the inside. And some caregivers don't mind you coming into their home. You know, for me personally, I have I'm taking care of my mom. She's ill, and I have a 9-year-old. So I don't want people in and out of my home,
Right.
you know? So, just look at the condition of their home. And if you are out in their driveway and you hear a whole bunch of ruckus inside, dogs barking and everything, that's a sign of stress and anxiety, right? I don't want to drop my dog off in that place. You know, and that goes for a traditional boarding place as well. Most boarding places are not going to walk you into their facility and let you take a peek, just because that's going to make those dogs absolutely bonkers. Can you imagine every time you come home, your dog's super excited? Well, magnify that by however many animals they have, and you can never get those dogs to settle down. They are always high alert. So in a boarding situation, you want them to have peace. You want them to be calm, you know, and every time you bring a stranger into the back full of dogs, it's just going to hype them up. So there's usually just an area that you drop off, right? So when you're in a traditional boarding facility and you're dropping off your dog, how noisy is it? What's it smell like? You know, if it smells like dog, okay, a little dog odor, that's normal, right?
Right.
But if it smells wretched, then what's going on?
Right.
You know, if it's super loud and all you hear is barking, I'm sorry, but that is not normal. It is not normal. Like, yes, there's going to be some that drop off in different times of the day, but they should not be constantly barking like that.
How many dogs will you, so let's just say I have a dog and I want you to take him into your home.
We only take 3 new dogs in one setting.
Okay.
So, and depending on the area, like we have Weatherford, Azle, Aledo, all those more out in the country areas, they'll take more dogs. But we only take 3 first timers in one setting because we like to introduce them slowly and not overwhelm them. You know, stress and anxiety can produce fear. Fear can produce aggression. Then you have fear-based aggression. You take the sweetest dog, and he's going to bite you.
Right.
Or just be so stressed out that they're vomiting that then that creates an illness, right? So
you would have like my dog and someone else's dog in the same setting?
If they get along, yes.
You would,
yes,
okay.
100%. But maybe your dog doesn't want to be around other dogs. So I have 16 caregivers, and I'll just go, Tia, can you take this dog? Tia's been working for me. Tia and Shannon have been working for me the longest. And Tia tends to take our little purse dogs, is what I like to call them. You know?
I love those dogs.
And Shannon she takes our cats because we do cat boarding. And she also takes our high special circumstances dogs, like 17, 18-year-old dogs that need just a calm house because she only has cats. So I would take that senior dog and let Shannon love on him while the dog's parents are away, and that way it stays calm in a calm environment.
What about mixed? So I have dogs and cats, and I come to you and I say, I've got 2 dogs and I've got 2 cats, and I need to home them somewhere for a couple of days.
We'd find the house. We'd find the house that does that.
Would you split them?
If the owner allowed it, or if the owner didn't mind, possibly. It would just depend on who's available. My goal would be to keep that family together, right? So I would probably call on Shannon because she can do cats and dogs.
Yeah.
You know, not all of my caregivers can do cats because we have allergies, right? So I would find the caregivers that can do both animals, and I would try to keep the family together. But if I couldn't and the owners were okay with it, then we would split them up.
So if I'm not in DFW and I have dogs and cats together, what kind of questions would I ask a service like yours to say,
like a rover or somewhere?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I would same questions you would ask me, you know, what are your qualifications? How long have you been doing this? You know, Google them. I know. I mean, I'm kind of crazy like that.
Yeah.
You know, the girls that work for me, I'm grateful and I'm fortunate and blessed that I know them personally. So I know that they're not shady characters, right? But I do have people that come often that, hey, are you hiring? And I'm always hiring the right person.
Right.
But if you're just off the street, I'm probably not going to hire you.
Right.
You know, because if I'm going to Google you and if anything comes up, you're going into people's homes,
Right.
and people are leaving your animals with me, and there's just too many horror stories, So
It's a hard business, I'm
it is
sure.
a hard
Yeah.
business, and people are very passionate about their pets. Sometimes more so than their children, especially if their children are grown and out of the house and they have a pet. Oh my goodness! So and I'm all for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So you have to be very, very mindful of just the background checks, and how you would cyber stalk somebody for your kids, cyber stalk them for your pet.
I think most of us, well, me,
Me,
I do
yeah.
that with my pets too. They're my
100%
family. They're
I
my
do.
family. Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
And you're
Uh,
their voice. You should be.
Right. Is there anything that would have you as a pet owner or as someone looking at as an expert on this to tell a pet owner that your pet likely would be better off staying in your home versus going out of your home? So
100%. So that's that first meet and greet. So if somebody brings an animal to my house, right, and we require in any of our homes, we require you to take advantage of our free day of play. Okay, you're going to drop them off in the morning. It's like ripping a Band-Aid and throwing a kid at daycare. You got to you can't even get out of your car. Nope.
Oh.
No, we're going to take your car. You're passing the buck to us.
Okay.
And it is so difficult sometimes.
It's
I
hard.
have people crying.
Yeah.
Like I have dogs.
Dropping your kid off at kindergarten situation?
I'm not joking. There was one time I had to sit in my driveway. The dog was a rescue, and to this day, I love this dog. Like Livy is my jam. I love this little dog. She's not little anymore. She's huge. But the owners had rescued her from a really hard situation, and she set up for daycare, and she came to my house, and I went to get her, and she is trying to bite me. She is whining like I had beat her and I had not even touched her
Aw.
yet. And the owner's like, I don't think I can do this. And the owners, you can tell the owner's about to cry. And I just look at them both and I said, I mean, you can't afford not to. When are you ever going to leave your house then?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Like if this is day one, oh my,
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm just going to take her. She was like, okay. And so I took her, I grabbed her, and that dog flipped upside down, and she was a puppy, but she was a big Great Pyrenees puppy.
Oh, wow.
So and I was like, you need to back out of my driveway. I'm sitting on the ground with this dog who's like doing all the things, went to the bathroom, all the things.
All the things.
That owner backed out, and I could see her in my peripheral vision at the stop sign, just waiting. And I was like, no. And we just sat in that driveway for about 10 minutes. And then she finally calmed down, and I carried her into my house, and we sat in my hallway for another hour. And I went to the refrigerator, got some turkey, and I gave it to her. And that dog now, you can pull up to my house, open the car door, and she will run out and jump on me.
Oh, so
And
cute.
I mean, that meet and greet and that free day of play in any of our homes is vital, because that's going to allow the dog to know that their owner trusts us enough to leave them. And it's going to give you, the owner, the peace of mind that you're not going to be so worried when you leave for your trip because you've already done it, right?
Right. So would you say if you're looking for a boarding place that you would require a free day of play or some version of that?
And if they don't do a free day, a lot of people, it's not common for somebody to offer a free day. Nothing's free, right? For me, that free day of play allows myself and any other caregiver the opportunity to know what to expect or have an idea. Because the reality is that the day that you drop that dog off for their free day of play, whatever dogs are there and whatever people are there may not be the dogs that will be there when they're dropped off for their vacation, but they will be familiar with the smells. They will be familiar with the routine. Dogs, just like children, need routine. They need structure. They need boundaries. And each of my homes have very structured, very boundaries. I mean, we are very militant on our rules. And if anything in the community, they'll say, oh, she runs a tight ship. And I do, because they're animals.
I think you want that.
You have to have it.
I think you want to hear from the person you're trusting, your pet, who's like my baby. I would want to hear that person's really, really tough. That person really makes sure
you say
the
that,
rules are
but
followed. I was going to ask a question, and I was like, oh, maybe I won't ask it, but I'm going to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you ever had anyone come back and pick their pet up because they just were so stressed out? Okay.
Oh, 100% yes.
And have you ever had to call somebody and say, you got to come get them because they're not?
Twice.
Twice. In all the years. And how many years have you been doing
13
this?
years.
13 years, only twice.
Only twice. And what I did in that situation, one of the girls was like, Shawna, this dog is not doing good at my house. And I did that not for the dog per se. I did it for my caregiver.
Right.
Because if my caregiver is stressed out, how can they give that animal the care that they need?
Sure.
So I called the owner and I was like, here's the situation. But we always have plans A's and B's and C's. I got it figured out because now they're on their way to the airport and they're like, oh crap, what are we going to do? And I'm like, nope, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pivot and we're going to come into your home and we're going to make that situation. We were making that decision. And before you ever leave town or go on your way to the airport, we'll tell you what our plan B is. If something goes south, then this is what we're going to do. And you're going to agree to it or you're not going to agree to it and you'll go somewhere else.
Right.
So we're not for everybody, quality over quantity, both in caregivers and owners, right? Like we are going to be just as picky with our owners as our owners are going to be with their caregivers, So
great. So you mentioned, I just want to ask quickly, you do farm animals too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So every kind of animal, just horses? You do
horses, pigs, donkeys, cows, emus. We've done emus.
What's the strangest pet you've ever done boarding for?
Gosh, I mean, we've done so many reptiles. I'll tell you a strange situation. I love my senior citizens, both animals and humans, right? I like how cranky they can be, all the things, and just quirky. This little old lady and her husband, I think they were 100. I don't know, but they were just the sweetest little couple. And they had these 2 little dogs. And when they would drop their dogs off, they would drop them off in an old-timey stroller, the kind with the big thing. So that was their kennel. They were to be put to bed at night. And they came with outfits of every day that I was to change them in, and a dozen eggs.
This so much.
And a dozen eggs and some sausage and a can of green beans because that was what they ate. So I was to scramble some eggs. This was in my earlier days. I probably won't do that so much, but I was to scramble some eggs, throw some green beans in there and some sausage, fix them up, take a picture, and send it to the owners. Yes.
I love that they loved them so much that they needed that.
And they slept in the bassinet thingy by my bed every night.
It. I had a dog, I had a Rottweiler, and he on Sundays got 3 scrambled eggs. And it was his favorite thing ever. And he only got it on Sundays. It was a special treat for him. And it was really fun. And I will tell you, when I've left my animals, my mom and dad live with us now. And so when I leave now, I have my dad that will take care of them. And I am constantly.
And they spoil them rotten, right?
Oh, spoiled. They're spoiled all the time. Yes. But they're really spoiled when grandma and grandpa are watching them. And I always ask my dad for pictures or like, what did they eat today? How did they eat? It's nice to have that.
Yes. Well, and that's one of the things when we come into your home, we send a text message when we're on our way. So there's a timestamp. We send a text when we arrive. We send photos when we arrive, and we send a text message when we leave. So you have a timestamp of how long we were there. I know that my caregivers are safe because they've arrived and they've left. And then we see the care, we see the animals and all of that. And that's a big deal. Something that has been we've received more requests lately, like in the last year, is can we FaceTime with our animal? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I've done that too.
Okay.
To say I've done that too.
So this just happened last weekend. They called me and they're like, hey, Shawna, can you put Buster on the phone? And I was like, can I what? I was like, I mean, sure. Can you give me an hour or so? Because I'm dropping my child off at soccer. So now that's a service. We don't charge extra, but I think I'm going to start charging for those phone calls. But yeah, we just sit there at a wedding. We FaceTimed in the middle of somebody's wedding because they wanted to see their animal. I actually transported a dog to the wedding to get before and after pictures and hung out, and the dog was in the wedding party and everything, and then we transported it back, and whatever you need, we'll figure it out. I mean, I have a great team of people.
What an interesting...
It's fun.
Yeah, what an interesting life you have. That is so cool.
It is. It really is. And we've had some really cool animals, so...
It's been great talking to you, Shawna.
You guys as well. Thank you. You made this very easy.
I'm so glad. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us today, y'all. And remember, adopt, don't shop. And stay tuned for your next episode of Buddies Besties. Have a great day.